Really excited for this matchup.
I love you, buddy.
You know, when we started the beginning of the day, when this day started, we saw that these Ruby Sapphire decks were the most represented in the deck in the meta. We knew it was popular. I didn't know that I expected it to be 34% of the field coming into this day, but it was. And so what better way to finish off the day than going to a Ruby Sapphire mirror and watching these two players battle it out with decks they're familiar with for a shot at the World Invitation.
Now, when you're playing in a mirror like this with these two decks, what's some of the most important stuff that you can have in your opening hand between these two?
I mean, one of the sub games in these decks is the Flavisham sub game. In the mirror, oftentimes the deck that wins is the one that can get a Flavisham online to stick and draw a number of cards to propel them into the end game. So having a Brawl in the opening hand is never a bad option or something to remove that Flavisham after it goes off one time. You definitely want to have your ramp available as well. That's something you want in any matchup here. But it's that Flavisham sub game in the mid game. And then the other thing I want to point out in the mirror here, though, is that these decks are being built slightly differently in the meta right now. There's all sorts of different tools at your disposal. Some people are using Dime still. Some people have worked them out. Shark is there as an alternative win condition with Pirate's Life and other actions that you're pulling back and deploying again. Some people are running Great Stone Dragon. Some people aren't. There's all sorts of weird different techs you can do. And so it'll be really interesting to see how each one of these players has chosen to differentiate their decks based on the field they expected to see.
Yeah, really, really good point. I think, like you said, you hit it right on the head there, that I think the ramp is really important, and I don't love letting my opponent quest with Haverson. You can't really stop the first time they do it when they play the card and they get the 2 cards off that, but if you can keep them from questing with it, I think you're in a good spot. Lucas is going to be on the play here. Game 1 leads off with a Pawpsicle. Very important between the two. Sean has an item on 1, but it's not going to draw him an extra card here. First check of the match. Do we have a ramp spell on turn 2? And it looks like a Tipo is going to help out here. What card do you want to add to your hand here? I see a Sisu already. That is an answer to a Haversam as well from your opponent. So that can actually be like another copy of Brawl for you. So 3rd ink into the Inkwell for him. John, I see a Tipo. I see 2 Tipos in his hand as well. I see both players possibly having Haversam on 4 here. So buckle up. This game might get fast real quick.
Yeah, good point. We do see the Tipo come down. Here comes another ink. We have Sisus in both hands. So this is a mirror in the true sense of the word. Pawpsicle, Ice Block, one side, the other side. Flavisham comes down, eats the Pawpsicle, draw 2 cards. We are off to the races.
Yeah, Maui as well getting put into the Inkwell. So that's another thing that could possibly answer a Hiram after they've quested, though. So you would be getting 4 cards of it. But like you said, this card is really important. You got to be answering it in the mirror.
I want to mention one other card because I'm interested to see if either player's running it. We saw last round McDuck Manor worked into a deck, and that deck card was popular in the European Championship in these builds, specifically to deal with the mirrors, because this deck has a hard time dealing with it, especially since Maui, Hero to All, has fallen out of favor in some of these decks. So it'll be interesting to see if either one of those is running this running McDuck Manors, because that's a card that could give them an edge. And there it is. We talked about that Flavisham sub-game going off once here upon entering play, but then Sisu taking care of it in quick order, making sure it doesn't stay around for subsequent quests.
Yeah, I like doing that over playing your own copy of the card. You want to make sure, like we said, you don't get the quest with the card here. So Grandma going to come in. What card do we take here? Looks like it's between Brawl and another copy of Maui. By the way, beautiful copies of Maui from Lucas here.
Oh, delightful, shiny, enchanted versions of Maui Hero to All. Hope we get to see one in play eventually. They're fantastic pieces of art.
Does look like the Brawl has been added to Lucas' hand. Maybe you're thinking about possibly slowing down the Sisu train here. Oh, it is also just a Inkable, so it does look like Ice Block is going to go ahead, shrink the Tipo on the opposing side, letting him get kind of a free chip damage in for Sean here. Back over to Sean. Let's see if he wants to start cashing in some of these Ice Blocks for cards. He can make sort of the same play that Lucas made here. Get a damage kind of put back on the Ice Block Sisu Tipo going back and forth. Looks like he's going to play a Grandma of his own here.
I have the Tipo Wars sub-game.
The Tipo Wars, okay. You've heard of the GD Wars. Are you ready for the Tipo Wars? Dragon getting put into the Inkwell as well here. Another Pawpsicle added for Sean here. It's going to draw another card here. But that is one of the big plays for Sean getting put into the Inkwell here. That is something that could come in these games. If they go super long and you have to if you have to ink some of your really big impactful cards early, that means you won't have access to them late. So double attack into the Tipo here after ice blocking it. It's going to go ahead and remove it, and no damage onto the characters over on Sean's side. Back over to Lucas. You know what? I really appreciate the speed at which these players are playing in this mirror. They want to make sure they get this round over with.
Hey, they know what they're doing. They know their deck. They know their opponent's deck pretty well, obviously. I do love the ice block game going on here. One of the affectionate names for this deck is Sisu on Ice. It's built that strength manipulation with the ice blocks plays well into Sisu and other cards in this deck. So I love seeing that going on here. This deck showing what it does.
Probably my favorite deck name in all of Disney's Lorcana here. Haversam comes down, eats up one of those Pawpsicles, draws 2 cards. And Matalia going to go ahead and attack the other one with 2 ice block activations. It means only 1 damage going to go across over on the Grandma on Sean's side of the board. You got another Grandma here for Lucas' side. I'm trying to keep up here. I'm going to go at breakneck speed. Madam getting sent to the bottom. One of those big plays getting added here. That's the Tamatoa getting put into the Inkwell. That's going to allow a Brawl to take care of that Haversam, though, from Lucas here. So
yeah,
checks on both sides on the Haversam so far in this game.
Very, very important. Again, whichever side manages to get the Flavisham going in the mid game 2, 3, 4 times is the one that usually wins. So having those answers for that Flavisham is very important. We've gone through the mid game Flavisham phase war here, and now we're moving on to the late game.
Yeah, this is one of the problems that we can kind of run into here. You see Sean putting his 7th ink into play with 3 cards in his hand and just passes right back over to Lucas. Lucas with a dime in his hand. One of the more impactful cards that could possibly come up here. It looks like he's going to go ahead and set up this dime. I like getting this into play as soon as you possibly can, so you can start using it every single turn from here on out. Let's see if Sean has possibly one of those tech cards, like maybe like a Hideaway or something in his deck that can take care of this dime.
Yeah, it's very good. Very talking to a very good Ruby Sapphire player, who Hal Brady, fantastic player. Doing a tech of this deck early on, and he told me, with the Lucky Dime, he reminded me, there's always a turn you kind of have to take off to slam the dime. If you have it in your hand in the early game, it sets it up. But space to do that here, getting it on board, and you're right, you can use it every single turn. But on the opposite side, Sean has an answer.
Yeah, that Sisu along with those ice blocks where you get the Sisu on ice. Clearing up the board from Lucas here. Lucas with another Grandma here. Going to look at these top 2 cards. 2 really powerful ones. That's a Tamatoa and a Sisu. More Enchantress here. That Tamatoa, though, you got to believe you're going to be going after that with Lucky Dime. And your deck already picks up a Half Shark here as well. Sail the Azeroth Sea. Sail the Azeroth Sea. Going to draw another card here. That's going to be a Visions from Beyond. Another card that could be very powerful in these super late games. Going to go ahead and bring down that power on the Grandma here. Nope. Just played that one. Can't attack here this turn. Back over to Sean. I think if the player's playing at this speed, that won't be the last little misstep that we possibly see between these two. But I can appreciate the speed at which they're playing. And again, they need to do this to make sure this match ends on time. Grandma's going to sing here. Grandma's probably got a pretty good voice, huh?
That's true. Very appropriate singing How Far I'll Go.
Yeah. One of my favorite Disney songs. All right, Visions from Sean here. Going to take a look at 5 cards. A lot of different ones you can pick up here. Haversam's not a bad one. It's going to get you into a lot of cards later in the game. Any of the big plays are great. You guys are getting a little worried when there's a Lucky Dime sitting on your opponent's side of the board. That's a card that can start ending the game really, really quickly, especially if they find something like Tamatoa, which we know Lucas has in his hand.
I don't think you'd be upset to get a Tamatoa. I don't think you'd be upset to get a Half Shark here. There's a lot of good options, and 5 cards is digging pretty deep.
Don't know if he has 10 ink just yet. Didn't get a look at any of the 5 cards or the card that went into Sean's hand here, so mystery for us here, but maybe we'll get something else from him. He does have the Sisu active in play. That gets 3 lore for him here this turn. That's going to put Sean up to 5. These players starting to quest up a little bit. Big Sisu drawn for Lucas here this turn as well. I don't think that's 10 ink, but we're getting close. Looks like 8 for me. Visions for Lucas here as well. This one we'd see a dragon. I think double Sail the Azeroth Sea, a Madam. What was that last one? Oh, Let It Go. Okay, so lots of different answers for Lucas here. Looks like he's going to take the Madam here, if I saw that right. Something that he can deploy this turn. Looks like that is. It's going to be the Madam. So not only does that take care of Grandma, but it is going to put the Sisu in check as well. That's 4 strength. That's going to be able to take out that 4 willpower Sisu as well. So nice little answer for Sean here.
Yeah. Back and forth, back and forth. With the dime on board, oh goodness, the dime on the other side.
Dimes,
oh
this is going to be
gracious.
a 6 lore turn for Sean here if he wants it. He doesn't have to quest to a Sisu though. Might not want to trade that.
And leave that up there as a dime lore battery, as it were.
Yeah, good point. You can cash in that dime every turn of the Sisu for 3. This is going to speed the game up quite a bit for Lucas here. This is a Tamatoa. It's going to go ahead and get a Pawpsicle back. Already got 2 other items in play. The second card into the ink. That's going to go ahead and put a Pawpsicle. That is a Be Prepared and a Sisu left over. Lucas saying he's going to quest up with both of his characters here. Going to take the lead 6-5. But the real threat is the Tamatoa plus Lucky Dime.
Tamatoa can get out of hand rather quickly.
Yeah. Back over to Sean. Does he have a Be Prepared? Does he have a Dragon? Does he have an answer to this Tamatoa? There are questions that need to be answered very quickly for Sean.
Oh, there's the
there we go. There's the Be Prepared. It's going to clean up the board.
The big reset button. Oh, Tamatoa of his own, going to pull back an item.
Yeah, when you see Be Prepared getting sung by something that could have gotten 3 lore this turn, you have to know there's a big play coming behind that. So that's a Tamatoa Sean's own, and he's got the dime in play. Lucas was the first one to get a dime and a Tamatoa in play, but it looks like Sean might be the first one to actually start reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah, what a play. I mean, singing Be Prepared, always impactful. Can follow it up with a card like Tamatoa. Here we go, activating the dime. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 lore immediately off that Tamatoa having just come in play.
Great turn for Sean here. There is a Be Prepared back on Lucas's side here if he wants it.
And now you have to answer this Tamatoa. There it is. Be Prepared. Clear the board. It's just a crab, but it has to go.
Yeah, it's a pass back over to Sean. That Sisu, that how far will go left over.
Oh,
Sean's saying, all
goodness.
right, Sisu played for Sean here. Lucky Dime activated. He's up to 15. Depending on what Lucas does here, Sean might be able to answer this. I mean, might be able to win this game next turn.
Oh, not what you need there. Although ice block, no, we're not enough.
All right, so you got to, I was supposed to say, Sean's going to be able to win this game next turn with the Lucky Dime and the Sisu activation. So Sean is going to win game 1 between these 2 players. Wow, that was fast for these 2 guys.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. All right, so Sean taking game 1. Lucas looking to split this, scoop up 3 points.
Oh, nice little opening 3 there for Lucas. So you have her some. Looks like he's going to put the hideaway back, though. Thought about keeping it, possibly.
Yeah, really looking for a turn 1 play. Really looking for that ramp card. We did have the Flavisham, but I didn't see any turn 2 ramp, which is going to set you behind.
Really, really good point here. And depending on who's on the player draw, I forgot which one he's going to be on. You might get a couple of cards more to look at it, too. So getting 5 more cards off the top plus 2 draws, I mean, you're at a pretty good chance to hit one. But if you miss in the matchup and your opponent has it, you are at a severe disadvantage.
It feels really bad. There are some catch-ups later on with how far I'll go and some others, but it really does put you on the back foot.
Yeah, so much pressure on the opening hands here from both these players in this matchup.
Let's see, a really top-heavy hand here on Lucas. 2 Maleficent Dragons. We do have the 6-cost Madame Medusa. I don't see the turn 2. We do have Visions of the Future. We can dig a little bit, but there's no turn 2 ramp card. Oh, 3 Visions of the Future. Oh, my goodness. This is, we can play it, we can dig a little bit, but this is not a great opening for Lucas. On the right-hand side, we do have the Pawpsicle turn 1. I see the Flavisham there on turn 4. I do see the Tipo being drawn here. This is the ideal opening on the right side. So, gosh, this is a tough spot.
I actually think both players didn't have the turn 2 ramp, and Sean top decked the Tipo on his turn.
Man.
So now the pressure's on Lucas. Do you have it in you to top deck a Tipo or an Azurite Sea or something along those lines? Nope, that is another miss here.
It's the Pawpsicle. So most likely we're going to ink a Visions, we're going to play a Visions, we're going to dig for that ramp or something that we can use. Not a lot of help here. Ice blocks, how far I'll go.
And some Mauis. It looks like an ice block is one of the choices here for Lucas. Really?
Yeah, we do need Flavisham food. I'm not sure if we have any others. So we do have the Pawpsicle, so that's available. Man, we're going to see a textbook example head of open here on the right, and Lucas just unlucky here, not what he needs. There's the turn 3 Flavisham, eating that Pawpsicle, drawing 2 cards. Does Lucas have an answer for that? I don't think he does.
If he doesn't, I don't know if Lucas is going to be able to win this game. So he's going to dig here. Pawpsicle added to hand. Doesn't have the Sisu. Doesn't have the Brawl here. This is the nightmare scenario. So Visions here again. If you're Sean, you've got to be feeling great being in the spot. No ramp, no answer to Valle-Hammer. If you have another item here, you can start digging super far down into your deck to make sure that your draw is going to be so perfect. It looks like that's
there it is. There's the Pawpsicle, drawing a card. Flavisham going to eat that here in short order, gobbling up that delicious Pawpsicle, drawing 2 more cards.
If Sean has another ramp behind this or something like how far I'll go, he might just pull so far ahead in this game. That's 4 ink. That's how far I'll go. I don't want to call it too early, but Sean is in a commanding position.
One card in the inkwell, one card in hand. That sets. Look at that resource disparity there. Back over to Lucas, hoping to top deck. Well, we'll play a Flavisham this turn, allow you to get a few more cards. We don't. Yeah, there's the Flavisham. Nope. Instead, we're going to brawl. Get rid of that Flavisham. Shut that down.
So there was a brawl there. It does answer the Flavisham, but 4 cards gotten off that Flavisham. Still a lot of resources. We're talking about the ink advantage here, too. There's 4 on one side, 6 on the other. We still might have another ink turn. Flaversham's going to go ahead and pick off this ice block, get all the information, all the cards before we ink here. Possibly even cast and play maybe like Azurite Sea. Lots of things that Sean can still do.
It's so disheartening taking care of that Flavisham and having another one come down right behind it.
Another Pawpsicle edit here. Tipo into the inkwell. Sean's getting a little bit of his questing on here, too. He's up to 4. And look, nickeling, diming your way up. And yeah, I did that on purpose. Getting a little bit of extra just so you can maybe get that 1 or 2 big turns of dime to finish the game quickly. If you can get up to, say, 6, 7, 8, you can finish the game pretty quickly from there. Some of your better draws. Another Haversam from Lucas as well. But Sean has such an advantage on ink here and tempo.
Now, I will say, any deck with board wipes in it, you know, there are big reset buttons. So unless this is closed out very quickly, there are ways to kind of keep this game going, stretch it out. And so there are ways back in for Lucas.
So 2 more lore here for Sean's going to put him up to 6. The Haversam's going to draw 2 more cards off that Pawpsicle. Sean counting up his ink. That's not good if you're Lucas. You never want to see that. Let's see, is this going to be a Sisu maybe to take care of the Haversam and put the most pressure? Yes, it is. Sean just keeps pulling further and further ahead every one of these turns. Does Lucas have what it takes to get out of this? Doesn't even have enough to be prepared here at the start. Did he draw?
He does not. He does not have enough. Madame Medusa there taking care of the Flavisham, but pointing out the importance of the turn 2 ramp. Had you hit that ramp, you'd have enough for the be prepared there. We didn't, so we don't. Giving another turn of Sean, questing with his characters. Maleficent Dragon coming down, removing Madame Medusa. Really threatening board over there.
Back to Lucas. Is this his 7 ink turn? I think he has
it is,
a be
and
prepared.
He does have to be prepared. So we are going to see it reset. Again, there are ways back in, but unfortunately, when you're not singing it, when you're playing it, you give your opponent the chance to respond first. So back over to Sean with a big answer.
As Tamatoa is going to get back one of those Pawpsicles. It's already been eaten a bunch this game. The Pawpsicle is going to get played. I don't know how many cards Sean has left in his hand. There's still more than 1 or 2, I think. I think he's still got a couple. It looks like Maui's going to go ahead and get into the ink. Yeah, I think he's still got 4 or 5 cards left over here. Back over to Lucas. Does he have another answer? Looks like Pawpsicle's going to go ahead, draw a card here. Lucas is so fast at drawing his card for a turn. I'm not even seeing it half the time. Haversam's going to go ahead and draw 2 cards here.
Yeah, luckily not a lot of items on the board at the moment, but plenty to pull back. The problem for this deck is that the biggest answer to a Tamatoa is either a lot of ice blocks or be prepared. Yeah. That's the biggest way to clear out these big characters, and so you only have so many.
I'm not sure if I saw it, but I do think the last card in Lucas' hand might be a dragon, so he might be able to answer it next turn when he finally gets up to enough ink. So there's at least that for Lucas here. We do have a 10-0 lead on the lore here. It's about to get a lot higher. There's 2 for Sean here, going up to 12, gets back the Pawpsicle, plays the Pawpsicle, draws another card. This is going to keep getting, exponentially bigger every turn. See what he's going to do behind this.
See, for ink, if it's a Flavisham, this engine's really going to get going.
I was trying to count his ink here to see if he has possibly like Lucky Dime, enough to do Lucky Dime activate. I think that he does, but I don't know if Sean has the Lucky Dime here. Like we've been talking about all day, I think they've cut down sometimes on playing, how many copies they have of that card, depending on how many they have of Pirate's Life in their deck. But we haven't seen that out of either one of these players yet.
No, that is true. We have seen Shark around. We haven't seen the Pirate's Life, but you're right. A lot of players cutting down on Lucky Dime, some going as low as 1. I've even seen a Dimeless deck in a recent tournament placed in the top 2. So that is true.
Big Sisu played here that's going to take care of the Hiram Flaversam for Lucas. Going to slowly count up his ink here. Got a couple different answers in his hand here. 2 big Haversam, 2 big Sisus of his own, but the Dragon's going to come down, eat up that Tamatoa. Crabs taste pretty good. I think dragons like crabs.
I think so.
I know. I'm a big fan.
Dragons also like gold, and Tamatoa is so shiny.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
So unfortunately on Sean's side, unfortunately for Lucas, another high lore quester there.
Another big play coming in for Sean here. Well, maybe little bit of a balk here. Yep.
Another Tamatoa.
And I think there's another item left over. Yeah, it's another
So
Pawpsicle.
many items. Pawpsicle comes in, draws another card.
The cards just keep coming for Sean. The hits just keep on coming for Sean. And the lore just keeps on getting higher. That's going to be all the way up to 15 here.
15, that represents game on board. We have well more than we need on Sean's side of the board.
I don't know if Lucas can answer. I was saying, okay, so you can trade into the Sisu, but Tamatoa does quest for 4 here, so any other item gets the game over with here immediately.
We have nothing available to draw, so really we're just gonna have to play a big threat and just hope that Sean doesn't draw the item he needs or the lucky dime to close down this game.
Yeah, any item I think gets it done here. Lots of ways to either have it. Oh, that'll get it done too.
Pirates. We talked about we haven't seen it yet. There's a Pirate's Life. I don't need the item.